tonight in your local Walmart, there's a car driving up. It's beat up. It has a mother and 3 children under 10 years old. It's full of stuff, suitcases, toys, and it's everything they have because they're homeless. They were told by a local nonprofit earlier that all the beds for the homeless in the county were full, but that if they went to the local Walmart and parked their car, at least they could sleep with security. 17,000 mothers are going to be going through this tonight all across the United States. We need to do good better. Down the street from the Walmart is a very, very wealthy couple that's also sitting down for dinner. And they're having a discussion about how they love giving their philanthropy to local nonprofits, but they're frustrated. They're frustrated because they can't seem to solve any of the social issues that they're always been giving money to. And also down the street is a builder, a very large builder who builds housing, but the rents that he can build to are very, very high because the cost of construction, all the cost of building is really, really high. And he's frustrated because he knows that all across America, there are elderly poor and other vulnerable that are paying up to 50% of their income as rent. There's 12 million Americans paying 50% of their income as rent. So these elderly couples are choosing tonight between eating or buying their medication or paying their rent. Now, imagine if the philanthropy that the wealthy couple has could be invested with the large builder. Imagine if that was possible. So the builder, instead of paying a 20% return to its investors, could now only have to pay back the philanthropy. So essentially at 0%. Now the builder can build units of housing with lower rents. And he can build as many units of housing, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, as there is philanthropy available to invest in his projects. This concept is called philanthropic private equity. It's investing philanthropy into the largest companies that we have. Why? Because the largest companies can actually take in hundreds of billions of dollars and deploy them quickly, which is what we need. This is also true in clean energy. The largest clean energy companies in the world have hundreds of projects that they can't build. They're ready to build, but they're not profitable enough. They're a little too expensive. But if you took philanthropy and invested into these really big companies, these projects could be done because the debt that would be in these projects at 8% could now be financed with 0% from philanthropy. Now, all of a sudden, one of the biggest clean energy companies in the world could build all of these solar farms at the same time. Now, multiply that times all the big clean energy companies, and we're talking about the biggest move to improve climate change in the world. This is not something that's being done today. Thank you. So in terms of clean energy and moving the needle in the biggest way that can be done in the whole world, it's very simple. We take philanthropy and we invest it with very large companies that can't afford, for lack of a better word, to build hundreds of projects that they could, but they're a little too expensive. Just like the builder can't afford to build housing at lower rents that are truly affordable for all of the people who need them. Now, this may surprise you, but in terms of water, 21 million Americans have polluted water at home right now. There are about 5,000 little water utilities that have run out of money in their distressed neighborhoods. They don't have the money to upgrade them, so the water's polluted. At the same time, there's some really big water companies that would love to buy these 5,000 little water utilities. But they can't because they're a little too expensive. But if philanthropy was invested in these projects to simply pay for the upgrade, these big water companies could buy them all, and 21 million Americans would get clean water at home. And I know we hear about, polluted water overseas, but this is an incredible amount of Americans who don't have clean water at home. So whether it's housing or clean water or clean energy, we have huge companies, the builders, the clean energy companies, the water companies, that could easily take hundreds of billions of philanthropy and invest it quickly and have a huge impact. I used to work for one of the largest private equity funds in the world early in my career. And more recently, I worked for a nonprofit that helped the homeless in Palm Beach County. And sometimes I would leave late at night and I was closing up the building. And I would see a car banged up, driving up to our offices, and it was that woman with the 3 kids, all under the age of 10, desperately looking for a place to stay. And I was the one who told her to go to the Walmart because all of the beds for the homeless in the county were full. And the money that is available to house the homeless in motels as an emergency measure for one night or two nights, that money had been spent months ago. But then one day, I was looking at the news and I saw the Giving Pledge. I saw a movement that Bill Gates and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett started corralling a bunch of the world's billionaires and saying to them, look, make a pledge that you're going to give away half your money before you die. And about 230 billionaires have already made a public pledge to give away half their money while they're still alive or at their death. At first I was like, wow, we finally have the money. We can actually progress in our mission here. And then I had a chill that went down my back. And I realized once I added the money that this money was never going to get deployed. And that's exactly what happened. 10 years later, from when I first saw the Giving Pledge, the money has gone from about $400 billion to about $1 trillion today. And it's stuck. There's a bottleneck. And I wrote a book about how to solve this bottleneck. And I realized that we're trying to fund nonprofits who we have created to not be able to take in a lot of money. In other words, the nonprofits that we have forced them to operate on a shoestring, right? They say to us, we need $5. And we say, well, here's 3. Do the best you can. And so I've worked with some of the most incredible people, the most dedicated management that had 2 or 3 jobs at a nonprofit just to stay and continue the mission. And the overwhelming need of all of our social issues just cascading at our doors was just overwhelming. And so a lot of good is being done, but where are the solutions? We can fully solve the lack of housing for every vulnerable population in America, and then successfully end the housing crisis with just 15% of the money in the Giving Pledge. Now, why isn't that being done today? It's a good question. You can invest philanthropy in private companies. That's been done for a long time, but it's always been done with very small companies. Nobody's actually thought of investing the philanthropy in very big companies. Sounds like something very simple, and it actually is. We can solve these big problems, but the family that was having dinner, that's very, very wealthy, and the builder, and the nonprofit management team in that city, in your city, they don't know this is possible. So I'm inviting you to share this idea with them. We need to do good better, and it all starts with you. Thank you. Thank you.